One channel, different shows, everything entertaining. Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Alright, Deadheads, there are a lot of questions, so we might be doing a speed Q&A. Let's talk. The Walking Dead Q&A 3. Alright guys, we're going to get right in this because I want to answer as many of the questions. I'm hoping we get through all of them really quick so we can do a part 3. I really want these to be around 10 minutes long. I'm going to make an exception. This probably be about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I want to knock out the remaining 30 plus questions that we have. Starting off, Christian Talentio. I think I heard you say you played the Walking Dead games from Telltale. Wouldn't mind a review. There will be one coming after a while. That might be a video for the break to give us something to watch. Question 2. Do you have any ideas what you would like to see with the spin-off series? Same thing with Overkill's new game coming out. These are kind of like loaded questions. I will be doing videos on these later on, so I will be going in depth. But really quick, I can tell you that with the companion series, it isn't a spin-off. A spin-off has to have characters from the original show. The companion series will not have any character. None. Not Morgan, not Morales, none of them. It's going to be all new characters and in a fresh area. And the only thing that I would like to see different is climate. Number one thing, I want to see zombies in the snow. Not all the time. I want to see seasons. That is my biggest thing right now. Because in the comic, it's gorgeous. The seasons, the visuals, you know what I mean? The Overkill game, their teaser was off to a really good start. But I want to see a game that has a compelling story and one you want to be involved with. Last question, if you could combine The Walking Dead and The Last of Us, how would you do it? That is a tough one. Do you mean on the show or as a video game? You know what? I tell you what, this is the first question I've done this on. I'm going to give you a second chance to re-ask it. Let me know what you're talking about. Do you mean on the show? Am I combining the show? Am I combining it into a game? Just give me a heads up, and later when we have a little bit more time, I'll go in detail. That way I don't pass over your question, and this way I actually answer it right on point instead of me guessing what exactly you're asking. So go ahead and reshoot that question over to me, and I will do it in a Q&A where we have a little bit more time. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Cheeks? I guess that's how it is. What if Gareth shoots Carl in the eye in this scene? I know it's far-fetched, but a thought. No, I don't think Gareth is going to shoot Carl in the eye. But what if he does? If he does, then they're going to obviously continue with the storyline, except for he has a governor look to him now with one eye. Anime for life. Do you think Carl will get shot in the eye? What is everyone asking? Like he does in the comic book. And also, what if Morgan saves the group from Gareth at the very last minute? Morgan will not be saving the group. They already confirmed it on AMC that Morgan is a few months behind, weeks or months, I forget which one, but he is a good amount of time behind. So unless they somehow... So Morgan won't be showing up. He just, realistically, he can't show up that fast. What's going on with our survivors? It's happening within hours, not, weeks or days even, you know what I mean? Yes, I do think Carl will get shot in the eye, but because the governor happened relatively recently, I really don't believe they will usher that visual in until the 6th or 7th season, if they go ahead and do that. But I would like to see a scarred, hardened Carl, so I'm all for it. Elite Scooters. Do you think Gabriel knows the people who took Beth, or maybe the people of Terminus? Yeah, I think he has some idea of who they are. I don't think he's in cahoots with them. I don't think he knows in details. Gabriel, at the very least, he knows this area. He knows the surrounding area. But he might have seen the cars with the crosses on it. He might have seen people. He might have seen the people in cop uniforms. He might have overheard people talking. Maybe some people were trying to get away from them, coming to bang on his church, and they were taken. Because obviously, like I said before, they weren't eaten outside of the windows because there's no, bodies and whatnot surrounding his church. So no mass attack happened there. Absmo, what do you think of the theory that the lady eating the cop, Beth seen from the Comic-Con trailer, at the end is not a zombie, but in fact a cannibal? We know from a leaked scene that there is a doctor of sorts working with these bad people, so I'm beginning to think these people are testing on humans to find a cure for themselves. The vaccine which they create might have some saliva from zombies in it, so it would explain why the woman experiences walker behavior and eats the guy without actually being a walker. Looking closely at her, she looks human. Everything I've said is just a theory, so doesn't count as spoiler, haha. I think that would be a good theory, except for it doesn't fit The Walking Dead. I know they're doing experiments and everything, and that gets a little complicated because it's all technical stuff, experiments, what are they doing? But The Walking Dead is not a complicated show when it comes to what started the virus. Are there cures? You know what I'm saying? Like, Robert Kirkman does that on purpose, and I enjoy that. I really do. I know a lot of people, they want a reason for that. In my Beth video that I did, I showed that the woman, when they're trying to cut off her arm, it looked like she had a bite on her arm. So I do believe they're doing testing and experiments, but I also believe that she was bit. You know what I mean? It might have been bit by a walker, I'm not really sure, but I really do believe she was bit. And I think they cut off her arm, but it didn't work, and she turned, and that's why she looks like a human. So this is a good theory. I like it. I just don't think that this theory fits The Walking Dead because they like to go for a simple idea. The walkers are just there, and we're not going to even come close to knowing how it started, what started it technically. They did a little bit in the CDC, and that was just it, I think that's a cool theory. I don't think it's going to happen in the show, but I like it. I think it's cool. Kate, great. Who do you think is more likely to die this season, Glenn or Carol? If I had to pick one of them, obviously I would pick Carol. Prediction-wise, it's very likely that neither of them die. Christian Talentio, spoilers from the comics. How do you think Abraham and Tyrese will die? What do you think they're going to do differently from the comics with these two guys? As far as Abraham, I have no idea because they killed him off in the comic so suddenly, but it makes me feel that Abraham plays a great role in managing like a little mini army against Negan and being active in all-out war. And Tyrese, I believe Tyrese will die, unfortunately, and I think it will be on a run somewhere. I don't think it will be fighting anybody. I think it's going to be one of those moments where Tyrese will die, and it will help bring back that awareness that the zombies are things to be feared. They're still deadly, and that Tyrese would be a perfect person to put in that predicament because, you know what I mean, he's a hulking beast. He took those zombies, crushed them against the cabin door, and then he impaled one, you know what I'm saying, when he was in the cabin in the very first episode of this season. So I think using him to show that the zombies are still a deadly force is a good idea, you know what I mean, and it fits. Question 2, regarding Negan. Do you think he will kill Glenn or Daryl, or maybe both at the same time? I mean, at this point, it's really hard to tell. I want him to kill Glenn, just like the comic. Everyone knows that. That's how I feel, A lot of people have this idea that they will put Daryl on the chopping block in that scene. And if they do, I'll support that as well, because it would be hard to watch. And it will get the audience to absolutely hate Negan, and they will continue to watch, waiting for the moment for Negan to, finally die. And I really think that Negan killing Daryl off will really help some of those whiners who say they'll stop watching the show if Daryl dies. And I'm sorry if you're one of those people. To me, you're a Daryl fan. You're not a fan of The Walking Dead. And I know that's a raging sin to say, and I see the Facebook posts and I know it, but think about it. If you were watching The Walking Dead for Daryl Dixon and you stop watching The Walking Dead for Daryl Dixon, you are a Norman Reedus fan. You're not a Walking Dead fan. It's just that simple. If you're a Walking Dead fan, you'll watch The Walking Dead no matter what, And that brings up another question. Daryl Dixon fans, are you going to watch the companion series? Probably not, because he's not in it. If you do watch the companion series, then you are a Walking Dead fan. So you're expressing your anger that you don't want him, you know what I mean? Because we all believe as fans that we can say, yo, don't kill him, or we're done watching, and the studio will listen. They don't give a shit how many people stand up and say that. They don't care. You know what I mean? They know they wrote the majority. Think about this. They didn't need the Daryl Dixon fans to make it a TV show. This was a comic that so many people loved. It was created into a TV show. Daryl Dixon did not make The Walking Dead famous. The Walking Dead made Daryl Dixon famous, and I believe the actor Norman Reedus agrees, because in interviews he says the same thing, you know what I mean? Worded differently, and I know I kind of went off on a little rant there, but yeah, I did kind of trail off on a little rant there. I am sorry. Danielle Sell. Do you think the survivors will be getting to Alexandria's safe zone before mid-season finale or towards the end of season 5? Seeing as it is built and everything like that, I'm going to assume that, let's say, halfway between episode 8 when they break, and episode 16, halfway. I say around there. That's a good guess. Electro Monkey 101. How long do you think the Hunter story will be? Episode 3, done. So, tonight, done. Do you think they will show more Terminus flashbacks? No, I don't believe they'll show any more Terminus flashbacks. However, I do believe that Gareth will offer up a verbal flashback and tell us what they went through and, tell us his philosophy. Kabbalah Sherry. When do you think Morgan will meet up with Rick and company, and how? I personally believe that he will meet up towards the end of season 5 at this point, and I really believe that it's going to be a dramatic moment. I don't think they'll have his return as him just walking up upon them, and I still think it's going to have something to do with the Alexandria safe zone. I believe Morgan follows them all the way to the Alexandria safe zone. Something happens there, and in comes this figure, and it's Morgan, and it's at a point where we already lost hope. We're not going to see Morgan yet. And then boom, we see him, That's how I think they'll do it. Chris Ebling. With all that is going on in the new season, I think a lot of people have forgotten the house Carl and Michonne were in with the painting of what looked like Mary and the dandelions. Where do you think that all fits in at? That has nothing to do with Mary. Your answer is in Q&A number 1. Corey Davis. Who do you think is going to die in season 5? And who do you want to die this season, if anyone? I don't want anyone to die. Who do I think is going to die? Obviously, Bob is going to die. Gareth is going to die. I don't think he counts, but Tyrese, I think he's going to die. Carol, I think she's going to die. I have a sneaking damn suspicion that Glenn is going to die. He's either going to die or he's not going to die the way he did in the comic. You know what I mean? And the only reason I feel that way is because of that damn trailer that showed what they showed and Glenn about to get bashed with the bat. Because it was spot on, almost identical to the comic. And I think that was them paying homage to that because they're not going to do that. Alex Spencer. Do you think they could pull off another near-death experience in the showdown with the Hunters? Like have Eugene get shot or Glenn get injured, but not have them die? But end the episode with something like that to wrap up the story arc, or have Rick lose his hand? I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think that they have a key ending to the episode, and that is Bob's death. You know what I mean? Because let's not overshadow Bob's death with Glenn getting shot in the leg. You know what I mean? And I really feel like that's why they didn't incorporate that from the comic. Art Hungwell. Will TV Rosita have more or less character development than her comic book counterpart? Comic Rosita has next to none. TV version seems to have a good chemistry with Abe and Eugene, but I'm afraid they will kill her off quickly. I hope I'm wrong. She might be cute to look at. She is my least favorite character. She, to me, is absolutely useless. I just feel like she's a character I do not even care about. Each page that I see her, it's a waste of space. To me personally, I just do not like the character. On the show, it's building up to be the same way. Even in the boxcar, when she's like, oh, Eugene doesn't have to explain shit. Listen, Rosita, you'd be dead if you weren't with Abe. You have not shown me that you're badass. I do hope they flesh out her character more. At this point, if they kill her off, I could care less. How do you see Rick and Abraham's power struggle playing out? I think it's going to play out because they need each other, in a sense. Strength in numbers, especially what they've been going through. So I think they're each going to slowly develop respect for the other. Maybe quickly, too. They might want to wrap it up. But I think that's what it's going to be. They're going to grow respect for each other. And I really believe that's where they're going to mesh and start being friends instead of bumping heads. Henry Dyer. How does Carol get hit by a car? By standing in front of it. Honestly, I have no idea. There was a picture of Carol on the ground, bad guys get out of a car, and witnesses said they threw her in the car. So I have no idea how she gets hit by a car. None whatsoever. I don't see her accidentally getting hit by a car. My first guess was she did it on purpose to get brought into the hospital where, Beth is at. So, because she's with Daryl, how does she get hit by a car? I'm thinking she did it on purpose, but then again, who gets hit by a car on purpose? That seems more unrealistic than her firework explosion. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know at this point. Being in front of it, that's my answer. Breaker 3961. What if Bob got bit on the leg, they cut it off, so they're eating the infected part, and in turn saving him from becoming a walker because they removed the infected part like Rick did for Herschel? That would be a really, really cool thing to happen, and I think that's why they're doing the companion series, so they can run with these really cool scenarios. However, we want it to play out like the comic book, so no, that's not going to happen, but points for you because that is a really cool idea, and again, that is why they're doing the companion series. They want to run with these cool ideas, they don't want to let us down, you know what I mean, by changing too much, which I understand. It's got to be hard for the writers, you know what I mean, because in a way your freedom is limited. You have this blueprint, but in a way you know, you have a great idea, but you're like, well, you can't do that because of this later on. So I really feel for the writers, but they're doing a fantastic job. All right, guys, listen, let's break it here. The next one, which is 4, I'll put that up here in the corner. When I have that uploaded, you can click here, or you can find the link in the description below, and you can also find the links to the other Q&As in the description below as well. If you guys love these videos and you want them to keep coming, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are fantastic, and I owe 1,000 thank yous to every single one of you out there. Just remember, keep on sharing these videos. I mean, put them in groups. Somebody asked if they could put it in Reddit. That's totally fine. Feel free to put the links and the words out there. You guys are the ones who are amping this channel up. Thank you so much, and there's a lot more coming. Thank you. You have any more Q&A questions? Again, leave them down below. I'm done talking. It's your turn.